What's good, YouTube? And welcome to the house. We have hit the tournament scene with our feet running into our opening weekend of regionals, the ARG 12K seasonal tournament, or I guess that's their invitational as they put it, and we have so much going on. Shadows in Valhalla is releasing officially, I believe tomorrow. I was told that it will update on Dueling Book and be allowed and rated. We also have the Megatons coming, and a lot of shifts assuming with banless speculation, so let's just go ahead and get right into it. Mech Knights have started moving and they are going upward. While we have this one near mint listed at 12 for Blue Sky, we see 1677. And the Purple Nightfalls have also gone up. I think the lowest was 18 earlier. I refreshed my tab. We have this one now at around the $16 mark. It's speculation when you think they're not going to be in the Megatons, but there's also a good chance they're missing now that we have so many of the secret rares revealed. So you're really gambling going for this early, but a lot of people with the new Invoked Link Monster want these. You had a deck that started as a control deck with Invoked that slowly became a going second, try to push deck that still had control options with the Mech Knights, and now you have the Invoked Link Monster, which just gives so much more potential to put extra fusions on board, as well as just extra pushes. So people have been looking at this for like Invoked Sky Striker Mech Knight, the deck that I've actually been playing and really enjoy, and yeah, the pushes are a lot bigger. We look at Purple on eBay as well. This is actually a new listing from Canada, and the lowest were 20 last night. Pretty crazy stuff. And then Blue this is actually a brand new listing also. I refreshed my tab, this wasn't here earlier. The lowest was actually 15. But tons are being listed as people are willing to bet against them not being in the Megatons versus being in the Megatons, so we do see sellers coming out. You'll have your chance to get them for the price that they were at. But look at the low quantities. Should these not be in the Megatons somehow? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you better believe it's going to be Wind Witch 2.0. Even if they're on the cusp of not doing anything right now. Like, they are really just almost there. And I think a few can top YCSs personally, but a lot of people are doubting that. Think of if there's a ban list that really just came in and wiped the shop. This is a solid option to take to that next YCS, especially if it's before the 200th. And I still think Morningstar is heavily undervalued, but you do just need the one. So I kind of do understand this as well, but it's a good option to have, and I think you should probably have one in your extra deck. Another card going up is Gold Sarcophagus on all variants, and this is the first card I've invested in personally in a while. I went for the commons on Yu-Gi-Oh! Singles 30% off sale, and we're looking, I think the actual best one to get, though, if you got in early, was the ultra rare from the legendary decks, because the legendary decks sealed are like $100+. It's crazy. So this is actually a pretty darn hard version to get. The original prize card was an ultra, and we do see that people also agree that it's the nicest version here at for some odd dollars from Dolly's Toys and Games. Shout out to them. Dolly's, I believe that's Team Sam's shop. But the other versions are like actual premium gold rares, not everybody likes platinum, even though I'm a fan, and we actually see only one before it's gone up to $4 too. Just the hype is real, because this is a one-card fusion in the Thunder Dragon deck. The Thunder Dragon deck is very good. It puts out basically a 2800 Thunder King and restricting your opponent from accessing their deck. That can also self-protect itself, and people are very hyped around that. I think the Duelist League ones are also pretty good grabs, but not everybody likes those colored rares. I personally do really enjoy the purple, green, etc. So I'm a fan, but not everybody is. You have pretty much that. You have the supers from Duelist Revolution. People do also like those, but they're somewhat hard to find near mint these days. And then you have, of course, the prize card. Yeah, that's the real version you want to be playing. I got a Pharaoh's Tour one if anybody's looking. But this is the first card I personally went in on commons for in a very, very long time. I think since Spiral Super Agent way back when. So I couldn't resist. I definitely couldn't. I think the deck is a really solid rogue deck, depending on how this ban list ends up falling. Rivalry of the Warlords is another amazing common here that has really surfaced thanks to Worlds, but also Altergeist itself. It is a very good card. Floodgate's still working out here in 2K18, and yeah, it has its place in several decks. I think True Draco also, but you can just end up tributing this anytime, but It's a decent card, and we see almost all versions headed back towards 5. A few were down towards $3 while I was watching, and I was like, all right, falling down. I'll probably mention this when it's 2. Nope, back on up it goes. Now, if we're talking penny stocks here, and Thunder Dragon decks, I keep almost saying Thunder King, I might have earlier, but Thunder Dragon, the deck, what are those? They're fusion monsters? Guess what stops fusion monsters? Dimensional barriers. The commons are still super available. These went down after Pendulum hype has deflated a bit, even though Pendulums are still an amazing deck right now that could dodge a ban list, could. And so with that in mind, both Pendulums and fusion monsters running around, you might want to pick up your dimensional barriers. The Megaton secrets really are just cheap, but you can find yourself, I believe, decent first ed ones for, let's see here, I think it's like in the $5-6 range. Yep, $4.54. I kind of want to get myself a set of these first eds for tabletop, but I did promise to go as cheap as possible. So we'll have Zodiac format probably during tabletop once we start that segment. Do be ready for that. That'll be pretty cool. But yeah, I think this is somewhat undervalued. There's going to be a point in time in formats where a kind of deck like that takes over. Hey, Invoked, what are they doing? Fusion summoning? Yeah, the Mech Knights kind of are a problem also, but if you only set this card, they're going to have a tough time continuing on through their board or setting up a lot. So it's another hard kind of counter to another deck that we're talking about here in Market Watch. And something that Simo and I were actually talking about is Called by the Grave. If you are playing the Invoke decks, you highly likely want to have this because Ash stops you dead in your tracks when you Alistair and you just get hit. Magical Meltdown being once per turn is really harsh on the deck also, so you know the route of Alistair is coming. And yeah, Called by the Grave's pretty darn good against that deck. You can actually stop other things that happen, like when you have different copies of that monster in the graveyard too. It's just an all-around beast. I actually got hit with that Okie Doke the other day on Dueling Book, where you have a monster on the field, and they hit the same monster on grave, and you're like, okay, that does, oh, yeah. So I would actually go for the super rares, the highest rarity. It's reminiscent of Wavering Eyes to me and how good it is. You really can side this in any deck as long as your deck is susceptible to hand traps, which is, nobody likes getting Droll and Lockbird. Yeah, so only $3.50. I could see this going up to $6 over time as people like to hollow out their decks. And I think the common version is near $1, Called by the Grave. Let's check that out real quick. Yeah, around the $1. Whenever a common is $1 or plus on TCG Player, really, you have a lot that will sell at 50 cents because they need a $2 order to complete. This kind of shows the real value that it's headed towards $1. Like, the seller's going to get less than this. They'd probably sell you 3 for $2 in person. But online, when it's a solid $1 on TCG Player, it's usually a pretty solid common. And I'd go for the super rares personally right now. Flood. It's going on up. Even though Impermanence is down from last Market Watch, I'm really surprised that it's held the price above $75 here. And it's actually holding around the $75 mark on eBay. And whenever new ones go up like this, they seem to be actually selling. So I'm worried that it's going to be stuck at 80, but it makes a lot of sense. I told you guys that Flood is the first set that's kind of reprint immune, and we know it's not in the Megatons. We know it's unlikely to end up in any product soon, although I had a very good point in my comment section also that they went ahead and put Blue Eye Spirit Dragon in those Megatons as a promo when it was from Shining Victories. So not everything's immune, but it's very highly just unlikely to see a reprint anytime soon, and it's reminiscent of how powerful Valor was on release. Altergeist, of course, is the only expensive card in that deck right now, besides if you're looking at certain extra deck options, and of course Evenly Matched, which is seeing its reprint. Ghost Spell and Haunted Mansion also going up to 38 now, and eBay, it's been bought out, boys. It's gonzo. 8 copies over here. And how many copies are actually? 10 prices only. So it does go quickly up over here. It's a good option. It just it's a counter to Called by the Grave also. There's just so much shenanigans in this format. And of course, being a shorter printed secret along with Infinite Impermanence, Not the best looking, but all of Flood is creeping on up. Unicorn, I believe we looked at it and it was 21 to 20 last time. Ibly was like a solid 20 as well. Everything's just creeping up a little bit from Flood. It feels like very, very, very little. Like Goblin's still where it was at though. So a lot of the secrets feel like they're doing that. Let's go ahead and talk about Ash Blossom, the card everyone's freaking out about a little bit. We see it near $20. The set releases this week. Let's wait till boxes open. We'll see how many people are getting Ash Blossoms, playsets flying around in trades, people motivated to sell things besides just this Alistair and the Time Goddess stuff. Let's see where it actually ends up. But on eBay as well, $16.50. I can see why you guys are freaking out, because Yu-Gi-Oh! Singles and Ideal 808 sold out on pre-orders. Maybe the most anticipated super rare reprint of the year. But, what if this ended up secret in the Megatons? That would really take the Super's value real fast. But again, you're speculating whenever you gamble that way. So I get why a lot of people want their guaranteed Ash Blossoms right here, right now. Alistair, the Link Monster, holding up very well, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Singles sold out of that as well at 26. I was right to bring you guys that market watch at night when that deal went up. That's crazy that it's just trying to hold this really high price. People seem truly excited about it. But again, it's kind of a one of, if not a two of. I don't think you're ever playing three, and I personally only play one. I feel like I only need one. So we'll see how this one goes over time. But we've seen historically unprecedented prices for one-ofs, like through Borreload, through Firewall even coming up until its reprint announcement. Just so many cards. Saryuja, Crystal Wing, just historically high prices for one-ofs. So we'll see how good this deck is, perhaps post-ban list. But definitely some crazy things. Like they actually marked down their Ultra Ash Blossoms in anticipation. Sold out right there too. So I understand wanting to get your hands on them. Just make your own wise decisions. I suggest not to panic and wait for the higher quantities to flood out, but also do it where you're comfortable personally, because you might miss an opportunity. You can never really call where something like this is going to go. I can't imagine it being over $20. I personally think it should be settling at 10 to 12, but I can't control the market. I just can't, and nobody really can. No matter how much money you're putting in, product's going to get split open. You're going to have motivated sellers. It's going to happen. But thanks for watching today's Market Watch. What do you guys think of Ash Blossom selling out like this? What do you think of the Mech Knights bumping up and having motivated sellers here and there? And the kind of penny stocks, Gold Sark, Rivalry, Called By, Dimensional Barrier. What do you think of some of my calls, and what do you think of some of these things that are creeping up as they are? Are you excited for the Thunder Dragon deck coming forward, or are you just kind of like, it's a bit hyped? Stun decks never really do that good. I'm personally hyped and excited for it, and I think it has a real chance as a rogue status, being able to bubble into tops at YCS is similar to Invoked. But again, cards like Dimensional Barrier do exist. We'll have to see how it goes. If you enjoyed the video, do give it a thumbs up, and if you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. It does mean a lot to me. We're headed towards 40K. Hopefully we get there soon.